How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Staying Focused for Jesus. I came across this article and it was pretty interesting. I decided to make a video on it because I believe it ties into Bible prophecy and it will give us a better understanding of end times and what's to come. Now, the popular teaching, well, I should say some of the popular teachings out there are that the Roman Catholic Church is Mystery Babylon. The other popular teaching is that it is America. The third one um, would be that there's a future Mystery Babylon. I know about people saying that it's Israel, Israel's Mystery Babylon, all that. But the three main ones that I want to stick to are the Roman Catholic Church, America, and a future Babylon, which is the final Mystery Babylon. So when people say that the Roman Catholic Church is Mystery Babylon, they are correct. When people say that America is Mystery Babylon, they are correct. When people speak about a future Mystery Babylon in the end time, during the time of Jacob's trouble, they also are correct. Technically, all answers are correct. And the reason that is because when you read the scriptures, I think it's in the book of Ezekiel. Let me see if I have it in my notes right here. I want to say it's Ezekiel or Zechariah. I cannot remember off the top of my head. I'm looking at my notes that I got scattered everywhere on different things. But you can go look it up, and there's videos out there on it where Mystery Babylon, she moves. She moves. When Nebuchadnezzar was in charge, when Nebuchadnezzar had his kingdom, guess what? That was Mystery Babylon. When Rome was in charge, when the Roman Catholic Church was in charge, guess what? That was Mystery Babylon. When it branched off and then it went to Great Britain, that was a part of Mystery Babylon. When Britain ultimately gave way to America, we know how that went down. America became the new superpower. So now today, America is Mystery Babylon. They are all connected. The statue that's mentioned in the book of Daniel. But what the Lord has been showing me is that there's a future Mystery Babylon, and this will be the final Mystery Babylon, and it will be located in what we call the Middle East. It will be located in what we call the Middle East. And guess what? America is giving way to that Mystery Babylon, the final Mystery Babylon. In the same way, the best way I can explain it is this. You had Adam all the way up to Jesus, right? Paving the way. John the Baptist paved the way. All these people paved the way until Christ came, Christ was the mystery. He was the mystery in regards to everything he was going to do and how it was going to play out. So in the same way, you have all these nations, all these superpowers paving the way for the final Mystery Babylon. All the prophets of old paved the way for the prophet, the Lord Jesus Christ. All these nations of old, these superpowers or whatnot, all these Mystery Babylons, these daughters, they paved the way for the Mystery Babylon, this final Mystery Babylon, which is again going to be located in what we call the Middle East, the so-called Middle East. So in this article, it says documents show Prophet Muhammad and U.S. founding fathers were kindred spirits. So you're going to see a connection between the two of them, because this is what the founding fathers, they were really into. They were really into Islam, and Islam ultimately boils down to Luciferianism, the worship of Satan as God, the crescent moon, the bull, the Taurus bull, the two horns that make the crescent moon, the worship of the bull, the worship of Baal. Although they are typically seen to represent overwhelming opposites, the Prophet Muhammad and America's founding fathers shared many common characteristics and beliefs, which can be seen in historical documents. So, this is nothing that is made up. This is all stuff that can be readily researched, but you have to be looking for it. By comparing the speeches and texts that they left behind, we can learn of the similar viewpoints that Muhammad and the founding fathers held on issues pertaining to equal rights and religious liberty. Their prophet, and I read it, but y'all know I don't roll with him being a prophet of God. He was a prophet of his God. But that's what it says right here, as you see. Prophet Muhammad and the American founding fathers shared an interest in protecting people regardless of their ethnicity, religion, or sexuality. You see how it all ties together? Islam presents itself one way to the people, but when you dig deeper into it, these folks ain't really studying no Islam. It all boils down to Luciferianism. This is how the elite work. It's the same way with Freemasonry. You have the different levels, and as you go up in the different levels, you are given or you are enlightened to different knowledge. On the lower level, they say, yeah, you're worshiping Christ and everything. Then you start to go up and you go up and you go up and you go up, and you find out that the Freemasons, they're Luciferians, and they worship Lucifer. Muhammad was a Luciferian under the guise of Islam. That's why he talked about protecting people regardless of ethnicity, religion, or sexuality. Somebody may say, well, that sounds good to me. Okay, sexuality also includes pedophiles. Um, Pederasty also includes sex with animals. So you okay with that? Because this is how these people get down. This is how they get down. That's why they are always in bed with each other in spirit. And in Christ, it don't matter what level of enlightenment or knowledge that God has given you. You know who Christ is. It isn't, saying, you down on the lower level and then you reach a higher level of enlightenment and you come to this revelation that, oh, Jesus ain't really Jesus. He's, there's some demigod or something, that folks try to make up. Nah. Doesn't matter what level of enlightenment that you are on. We all know who Christ is. He is God manifested in the flesh. The mystery has been revealed. So we don't get down like they do. So Muhammad, for example, received revelations from God, from his God, who directed him to celebrate diversity and cherish it as a staple of Muslim society. Muhammad's encounter with God, lowercase g, would later be recorded in the Quran, which states, O mankind, we created you from male and a female and made you into tribes and nations that you may get to know each other. That's a true statement. But a lot of the stuff that Muhammad got, he got from the Bible. He got from the Bible. And then he just mixed it. That's why they're known as the Arabs, the mixing. They mix the seed, they mix the spiritual seed. The mixing of the physical seed is only a physical representation, a physical manifestation of what they did spiritually. Furthermore, in his final sermon at Mount Arafat in 632 AD, Muhammad left a code of equality for Muslims to follow. See, they're not going to tell you this. They're not even going to tell I consider the lower level Masons, the lower level Muslims, because that's what they are. They're Masons. They're Freemasons. Freemasons of Satan. That's ultimately what they are. An Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, But you don't hear that amongst um, most professing Muslims. And notice what he's saying. He says in Arab, he stated, nor a non-Arab has any superiority over an Arab. But this is not what they're promoting. You see, ultimately, the goal, what Muhammad wanted, was he wanted what we call today the New World Order. So he was indoctrinated, and then he went up the ranks, and then once he reached a certain level, then he received a certain level of enlightenment from the gods that he served, and they showed him, hey, this is what we really want. Yeah, they brought him in like that. He started off with some of the Christian teachings, and then the angel came to him, and then he mixed it and stuff like that and everything. He got alleged revelation from this angel Gabriel, I think it is. Even though the scriptures tell us that even if an angel comes and preach another gospel, let them be accursed. And if you follow and listen to them, then you are accursed too. So it started out as that, but as he progressed in his walk, in his faith, then these deities, these fallen angels that he was in contact with, they really showed him what they wanted to do, which is a new world order under the guise of equality. Like, hey, let's all get along. Let's have equality amongst blacks, whites, and what I'm saying, no matter what your sexual preference is. That's what it boils down to. But they used the black plight, they used the black versus white, the white versus black thing to bring it in. Oh, we just need to all get along. That's why you see the sodomites, they're jumping on the bandwagon of Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. Then he says a white person has no superiority over blacks, nor does a black have any superiority over whites except by piety and good action. But he says that, but do you see that going on today? What do most Muslims say? That Islam is going to rule the world. Islam is going to rule the world because ultimately Islam is the new world order. The true beliefs of Islam, they tie in directly with the new world order, and it also ties in directly with what the so-called founding fathers believed, because the founding fathers were Luciferians. Muhammad was a Luciferian. Muhammad traveled, when he was over there in Mecca, the stone cube was already there. It was a temple to these 360 gods. It wasn't until later that he took on that and he changed it into something else of what it is today. That was already established there, if I'm not mistaken, by the Nabateans. So all he did was mix the different religions. So it says the Quran and Muhammad's final sermon show his apathy for judging people based on their beliefs or skin color, and his indifference to a homogeneous society based on exclusive requisites for belonging. Hmm. Well, doesn't God judge us based off of our beliefs? If a person dies a Hindu, do they get to go to heaven? No. So there you go. There go your new world order right there. All the religions coming together. That's what it's really about. What they show on TV, that's for the masses. That's to keep the people running in circles, to keep them deceived. Keep on chasing the boogeyman when the boogeyman is isn't who people think it is or he is. They present Islam one way. At the end of the day, they are from the same tree. Because Islam is nothing but rehash history. There's nothing new under the sun. You can go back and trace it. You can go back and trace the roots of it. It boils down to Luciferianism, the worship of Satan as God. America's founding fathers had a similar apathy for determining a person's societal worth based on ethnicity and heritage. In 1776, several of America's founding fathers gathered in Philadelphia to write the Declaration of Independence, which had a strong and clear position on promoting equality, similar to that of the Quran and Muhammad's final sermon. So they're showing you the connection with the Quran and Muhammad, his final sermon, this great revelation that he supposedly came to, and what the founding fathers, what they believed. The founding fathers did not promote Christianity. They didn't believe in in the biblical Christianity. They believe in this new age kumbaya, you know what I'm saying? Let's all get along. This Christ consciousness. That's the form of Christianity that they believed in. This all inclusive, that you can come as you are and stay as you are. Christianity. The Christianity that we have is a come as you are, and you're not going to stay as you are, because in the presence of God, you're going to be changed and be born again type of Christianity. That's the type of Christianity that we have. The second paragraph of the Declaration states that Americans are to hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. But guess what? That's not scriptural. The Bible does not teach that all men are created equal. I know that may be hard for some people to understand, but the Bible does not teach that. DNA does not teach that. It's not hard to see that what we call the so-called black man is superior overall. I'm not saying that there aren't whites that are not good at sports, but understand what I'm saying. It's not hard to see that overall, blacks are considered superior in sports. Look at your NFL. Look at your NBA. Look at your rest of your sports. So that would mean that in that aspect, that on a DNA level, that they are not created equal. Now, we're all equal in regards to we got 5 fingers, 5 toes, and all the other stuff. But understand what I'm saying. Understand what I'm saying. The scriptures also say that there was no greater man born unto a woman, minus Jesus Christ, except John the Baptist. So that means that John the Baptist was greater than other people. So if he was greater than others in regards to the office that God had given him and what he came to do, that means that he was not created equal to me or to you. So we got to understand these things and understand it from a spiritual perspective and not walking in the flesh. Oh my gosh, you said that all men are created equal. If I'm 6'2" and you're 5'5", guess what? We are not created equal. I'm taller than you. I have certain advantages over being taller than being shorter. So it says, which mirrors the progressive spirit. Notice that word progressive. So that's exactly what I was saying before. He was initiated. He started out in Islam under the guise of Islam, but then as he progressed, as the unclean spirits took him further and further, then they really showed him what it was about, what they wanted to show him. Because if they had dropped it on him, he wasn't going to accept it. So it says, progressive spirit of Muhammad, written down over 1,000 years prior to the founding of the United States. When the American Constitution was ratified in 1787, the founding fathers also put into practice that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. So I told y'all this before, that in the American Constitution itself, it does not support what we call Christianity. America was never founded on what we call Christian beliefs, Christianity. It was not. It was not. Because if you are a Christian nation, then your laws are going to respect the establishment of the Christian religion. In the same way, when Israel was a nation back in the day, when the strangers came and wanted to dwell with them, they had to abide by the rules of the Israelites. They couldn't come in and make their own rules and say, yeah, we're going to bring these pagan beliefs. into Israel, they were either gonna get killed or they were gonna get kicked out. So if this was a Christian nation, then the laws would show respect to the Christian religion. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, meaning that in America you can worship whatever the hell you want to worship, and nobody is supposed to be able to say anything to you. But that's all child's play. That's what they want the people to think. It's games to them. It's manipulation. They got people so riled up over the Constitution and Declaration of Independence when at the end of the day, they're still going to bow down and worship Satan. Majority of the world is still going to bow down and worship Satan as God. So what happened to the Constitution right there when they bow down and worshiping Satan? What happened to the prohibiting the free exercise thereof? Because if you don't want to worship Satan, then guess what? You're going to be killed during that time period if you're here. So what happened to freedom of religion? It's all a farce. You can't even say this to Americans, these patriotic, super patriotic Americans, because they can't see. They're so blinded by patriotism. They can't even see what's written in their own documents, which suggests that by law, no particular group is to be treated as superior to another group in the United States. It's telling you what the Constitution is saying. It's telling you right there. Well, guess what? In the monarchy of God, there is a particular group that is treated as superior to other groups, and they're called born again believers, baptized in the Holy Spirit, washed in the blood of Jesus. We are treated as superior to other groups. Because if that was the case, then everybody would be going to heaven. Hindus, Buddhists, all these other religions and beliefs. Similarly, the 15th Amendment of the Constitution prohibits the denial of suffrage based on race, color, or previous condition of servitude. So they see that they mix stuff. It's the mixing. It's the mixing. That's what Satan does. He mixes, which again cements a culture based on civic principles instead of more absolute and ethnocentric requirements. You see how they took a jab at God? Instead of more absolute, God is absolute, and ethnocentric requirements. Who gets to rule and reign first? Because of their ethnic. Jews, physical Jews in Christ. And then the grafted in Gentiles get to rule with them. You got to read, as I said, you got to read between the lines and see what they're actually saying. You got to read the spirit, not just the words. The founding fathers' interest in safeguarding equality in diverse circumstances is similar to Muhammad's concern for tolerance in his multifarious Muslim community. Muslims worldwide and Americans would be wise to remember this balanced approach in finding parity in their own communities today. Historical documents also show that Muhammad and America's founding fathers were compassionate men. If they were compassionate, it wasn't a true compassion. It was a vain compassion that benefited whatever they wanted it to benefit. They were compassionate when they needed to be compassionate, but they were not truly compassionate. They were compassionate for political reasons to push their agenda. The depth of Muhammad's humanity can be found in the Constitution of Medina, a document he created to ensure that the more vulnerable members of society felt safe and protected under the majority Muslim rule. Maybe saying, well, that sounds good. Also referred to as the Medina Charter, Muhammad's constitution gave equal rights to non-Muslims living under an Islamic government. So which one is it? Because I see scriptures in the Quran that say otherwise. You see, it's all a game. The whole ISIS thing, the boogeyman. ISIS is the boogeyman. ISIS is financed by the U.S. government. It's all a game. They're all pushing toward the same goal, but they have to keep you confused so that you can buy into what they are saying. They don't care if it's patriotism. They don't care if it's Bolshevism. They don't care if it's communism. It's all fruit. It's all branches from the same tree. They don't care if it's socialism. They don't care if it's Nazism, not Nazism. They don't care if it's black rights. They don't care if it's a civil rights movement. It's all branches from the same tree. Because at the end of the day, all of them are going to bow down and worship Satan as God. And that's what it all boils down to. It says strangers in Muhammad's Muslim society were to be treated with special consideration and on the same ground as their protectors. Well, which one is it? Are they supposed to be treated with special consideration, or are they supposed to be treated equally? Acting as a social charter for all Muslims to live by, the Medina Constitution helped to actualize the idea of a single community. That's code word right there. Single community. All religions coming together. Made up of a diverse people living under one government and under one creator. But he just said what? Let's go back up. Also referred to as the Medina Charter, Muhammad's constitution gave equal rights to non-Muslims living under and what? An Islamic government. So they want the Islamic government to be in charge. The Islamic government is really the New World Order government. All these different non-Muslims. So they're telling you that, oh yeah, we're all equal, but then guess what? The Muslims are going to be ruling the world. That's what they're telling you. Then we go back down. It says acting as a social charter for all Muslims to live by. The Medina Constitution helped to actualize the idea of a single community, the singularity. Now that ties into with transhumanism, but it also ties into the bringing together, the merging, two becoming one, many becoming one, made up of a diverse people living under one government and under one creator. What do you think this one government is? You see how they guise it under the term Islam? Islam is the New World Order, is the religion of the New World Order. Buddhism is the religion of the New World Order. Hinduism is the religion of the New World Order. All these false religions, Catholicism, it is the religion of the New World Order. All of them are religions of the New World Order. They worship certain gods, but they all pay homage to who they see as the one God, Satan, not the God that we serve. This is why that during this time period, our brothers and sisters are going to be beheaded. Oh, who does beheadings? Hint, hint, hint. You see how it all ties together? 10 centuries after Muhammad's charter, George Washington and Thomas Jefferson would adopt a similar societal structure as the basis for their new nation. In 1783, Washington wrote that the bosom of America is open to receive the oppressed and persecuted of all nations and religions, whom Americans shall welcome to a participation of all their rights and privileges. They may be Muslims, Jews, or Christians of any sect. You see that? The basis of America and their beliefs, their religious beliefs, was based off of the beliefs of Islam. So if he said that, if Washington wrote that, rather they can be Muslim, they can be Jew, they can be Christian. If any said, it don't matter. It don't matter what their religious preference is. They can come. We will accept them, and they will have these rights. Christianity doesn't teach that. It's Christ or nothing. Christ or nothing. It's not Christ and the Muslims and Jews who have not converted to be born again. It's Christ or nothing. So it's all the same household. Satan's kingdom is not divided. Satan knows exactly what he's doing. He's causing confusion amongst the masses. Satan isn't confused about what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. The Bible tells us to not be ignorant of his devices. Therefore, to not be ignorant of his devices, that means you cannot be confused. So if you're confused, it's because you fell right into his trap of being confused and not seeing what's really going on, arguing over terms. Likewise, Thomas Jefferson, who authored the Declaration of Independence, wrote in a document for the Virginian colonial legislature that the Jew, the Gentile, the Christian, and the Muslim, the Hindu, and infidel of every decimation are accepted as equal citizens in the United States. We know that's a lie. So see, they tell the people one thing, but then they really do something else. Because we know that's a lie. That does not go on. They show the fake Jews favoritism. The people they consider Gentiles, they treat them like crap. We know what's happening with the Christians, regardless if they are real or legit. We know how they feel about the Muslims. We know how America feels about other religions and other nations. It's all part of the plan. Divide and conquer, and then bring them all together under one ruler. The Constitution of Medina and documents of George Washington and Thomas Jefferson show that welcoming vulnerable groups who are perceived as outsiders is a central component of what it means to be Muslim and American. And there's more evidence to support this, the connection between Islam and the founding fathers and stuff like that. That's why America is in bed so much with the Arabs of Saudi Arabia, which is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, the central location of this final New World Order, or at least in that area. Muslims worldwide and American citizens should defend the creeds of their founding fathers and fight against prejudice and discrimination in their respective societies. I agree with that. We should be fighting against prejudice and discrimination, but it should be in Christ, not for the pushing of the New World Order. We don't worship the same gods that they do. Their one creator, their one God is not the same God that we serve. Muhammad and the American founding fathers were keen to respect Judaism. Okay. And the Bible doesn't even teach Judaism. Judaism is the mixing of the Torah and the Talmud and all some of these other books. I got a video coming on that where I have it in my list of sermons I want to do, and one of them is the whole Judaism thing. They didn't hold to no dang Judaism. Muhammad's Medina Charter singled out Jews who shall maintain their own religion and the Muslim theirs. But all of us living under one roof though, right? Oh, I wonder what that sounds like. The close friends of Jews are as themselves. So he's telling you something. He said the Muslim and the Jews, they're close friends because Muhammad, he came from the lineage of Ishmael. They trace their lineage, the Arabs, the Muslims, they trace their lineage all the way back to Ishmael. They're the main ones that were selling us into slavery. Our own brother. That's why it's so intense. Because it's a literal family war. They're upset because they feel like that they should rule. They have the right to rule because they're the firstborn, technically, but they were not the promised. They were not the promised seed. They were children of the flesh. Muhammad added in the Constitution that those who followed Jews and joined them and struggled with them form one and the same community. So he's trying to make that connection with them. Muhammad's tolerance of Judaism is strikingly similar to that of Washington, who in 1783 wrote in a letter to the Jewish community of Rhode Island that the children of the stock of Abraham who dwell in this land will continue to merit and enjoy the goodwill of their inhabitants. So they were making promises to these fake Jews way back then. Because these people, they're not the people. So there you have it. Muhammad, he was progressive. He was a new ager. He was a new world order person. Ultimately, this tribute to Jews by Muhammad and Washington is an important reminder for Muslims worldwide and Americans in their own struggles against anti-Semitism. It's not anti-Semitism. The true anti-Semitism is against the very people that people look down upon. The so-called black man, so-called black woman in America, in the islands and stuff like that, and also around the world. That's the true anti-Semitism. The true anti-Semitism is also rejecting Christ. A person cannot label me anti-Semitic because I would have to hate Jews. How can I hate Jews? That means I would have to hate Jesus. For me to be anti-Semitic, that means that I would have to hate myself too, because I'm a physical Jew and a Jew inwardly. If you are a Gentile and you're grafted in Christ, then guess what? You are a Jew. You are a Jew inwardly. For you to be anti-Semitic would mean that you have to hate yourself also. You have to hate the spirit that's in you. They try to use these words and try to scare people. Oh, you're anti-Semitic. It's witchcraft. Both Muhammad and the American founding fathers also worked to assure women's rights. In a time when women had few, if any, rights in Arabia, Muhammad helped liberate women with divinely sanctioned social, property, and marital rights. The Quran states that men and women were created of a single soul, male and female. Under Sharia or Islamic law, women were able to own property, freely spend their earnings, and agree or disagree to marriage arrangements, all unprecedented rights prior to God's revelation to Muhammad. So his views started to change. He went to a different level, another level of enlightenment. The gods were giving him another level of enlightenment into regards what they really wanted. He also requested that men treat their daughters and wives with dignity and respect. I mean, that's the basis of Christianity. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. The first commandment being what? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. Do treat your women well and be kind to them. He reported to have said in a hadith or saying of his. In the same disposition, the language of the Declaration of Independence, although written at a time when women were not considered to be equal to men, later inspired American women to fight for their inalienable rights, such as the right to own property and vote in elections. Women are not created equal to men. My wife is not as strong as me. If me and my wife got into a physical fight, guess who most likely is going to win? I'm going to win. Why? Because I'm stronger than her. I'm taller than my wife. My wife is 5'2" or 5'3", one of them. I'm 6'2". That's not equal. If it was equal, then why do I pay all the bills? You see what I'm saying? Women talk about they want equal rights, but then they want to eat they want their cake and they want to eat it too. because the woman ultimately wants to be in a position of man. The woman wants to be exalted as God. That's why you. That's what feminism is really all about. They want to do everything the man does. They even want the penis, and then they want the man to turn around and still open the door for them. If it was equal, if everything was equal, then a man should open the door for a woman, and a woman should do the same thing, open the door for a man. It should alternate. But we know that's not the way it's supposed to be. I mean, you just tell that you know that in your spirit. A man is supposed to go above and beyond for his wife, for his women, treat women with respect. You walking in the building, and there's some women behind you. You got your wife right there. You go get the door. You hold it open. If there's some women behind your woman, guess what? You let them go in too. If there's a woman at the door, then guess what? You grab the door and you let them out. So all this equal stuff, you gotta understand. It's not the way it was set up. Yes, it's equal in certain aspects. If the woman was equal to the man, then why would the man be head over the woman? The scriptures say that. Now, does it mean that because the man is over the woman that he can treat her like crap? Absolutely not. But there's a structure, there's an order. And ultimately, what they're doing is they're trying to bring this order and this structure down. You know why? Because that's what they want to do. It was a woman who was deceived. They didn't say that Adam was deceived. It was a woman who was deceived. Adam ate the fruit 100% knowing what he was doing. Now he was still stupid, just like Eve was stupid. But Adam knew what he was doing because he loved Eve that much. He didn't think about the consequences after that because he tried to blame Eve, and God got on him. So if it was equal, then why did the man today? Why did the man get majority of the curse when he had ate the fruit? The scriptures say that God was talking to Israel, he said that when the women when the Israelite wives they committed adultery, that God would not hold it against them. He will hold the men responsible. He will hold the men responsible for it. Mm. I know some of y'all having the feel that uh, women are equal to men. Okay, you go lift 200 pounds. Go bench press 200 pounds. Go bench press 250 pounds. You got some women that do that, and guess what? They walk around looking like men, and y'all talk about them like they look like a man. That's just nasty. Let's get out the flesh and let's look at it from a spiritual standpoint. And it's sad I gotta say this, but am I downplaying women? Absolutely not. My wife will tell you that I treat her as the queen that she is. That's why she worked from home. I pay all the bills except one. I put the gas in the car. She put gas in the car when she got to go somewhere, but overall, I put the gas in the car. I fill the tanks up. I bring the food home and she cooks it. And she ain't got no problem with that. Trust me. She'll let you know quick. She ain't got no problem with that. So it continues on. It says, although it did not explicitly verify the human rights of women, the Constitution was later reformed in the 19th Amendment that prohibited voting discrimination on the basis of sex. The ongoing struggle of equal rights for women in the United States and around the world is also an effort to reaffirm, the democratic outlook of Muhammad and the founding fathers. Democracy. It's a farce. It's a setup because at the end of the day, it's not going to be a democracy. It's going to be a monarchy. Satan's going to be ruling. Muslims worldwide and Americans should commemorate their standpoint by treating women with the utmost courtesy and respect. I agree. That's the problem. Men do not treat women with courtesy, with the utmost courtesy and respect. You know why? Because men don't respect themselves. You can only give what you have. If you have hatred in you, then guess what? You're going to put forth hatred. If you have true love in you, then guess what? You're going to put forth true love. So the reason that the men disrespect the women and they don't show them courtesy and that respect as a woman that they are, that came forth from the rib of man, is because they don't respect themselves in regards to who God has called them to be. And everything is out of order, is out of whack. The impartial temperament of Muhammad and the American founding fathers is being challenged today by people who proclaim that Islamic principles and American values are incompatible. They're not incompatible. They mesh perfectly. You just have to have eyes to see and ears to hear. The example of Muhammad and founding fathers like Washington and Jefferson should remind us of our duty to uphold universal ideas even when intolerant people and dogmatic organizations seek to destroy bridges for mutual cooperation. They're talking about us. Because who do they say is intolerant? They say that the Christians are intolerant. They're always attacking us. But when the Muslims say something, they don't attack the Muslims like they attack us. They attack the Muslims when it's beneficial to them, but majority of these people, they're Muslim. Your presidents are Muslim. They are the Islamic faith. They are of the Luciferian faith. Hillary Clinton, Muslim, Islamic, Luciferian. And dogmatic organizations. Who's dogmatic about things? True born-again believers. Seek to destroy bridges for mutual cooperation. You're absolutely right. We destroy them bridges. We don't want to cooperate with other gods. We're not here for that. So we are the enemy in their eyes. So let's understand these things. I think that was it. Yeah. But yeah, it was a very interesting article, and I hope this gave you some more enlightenment to what's really going on, and so that you don't continue to be bamboozled. But with that being said, God bless each and every one of you in Jesus Christ's name. As always, stay focused for Jesus. And as you know, truth is not debated, it is declared. And hopefully you now see the connection between Islam and what we call the New World Order. That's what Muhammad was ultimately about. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If it was edifying to you, be sure to do your part and share it on all your social media outlets, websites, and forums. Your help is greatly appreciated to help fight this war and reach lost souls. Don't forget to like, dislike, and/or subscribe. Be sure to also check out our website, stayingfocusedforjesus.life. And make sure you check out that resource section, which has a lot of videos that I share and some other stuff. Books, documents, PDF, websites, many things, and it's growing daily as I add to it. Also follow us on Facebook for even more content. Staying Focused for Jesus on Facebook.
Squeeze it so tight, get the last drop till there's nothing left, until we pass out, keeping us around to clean up the mess and take the garbage out, but we'll be trash next. Create catastrophes to speed up the process, depopulation, agenda progress. News tell half-truths, hidden in plain sight. They know with it Kool-Aid, but gave us cyanide. They know we don't see it. They know you can't see it. What they've done to us, open your eyes. Lemonade, don't drink the Kool-Aid, it ain't safe for us. They made it so sweetly, so it will be easy to carry their plans out to lemonade. Oh, lemonade, don't drink the Kool-Aid, it ain't safe for us. Made it too easy while we're busy sleeping. They carry their plans out to lemonade. Voluntarily, they hold us hostage, pay to receive fabricated knowledge, false education, standing ovation for my degree in indoctrination. Georgia Guidestones plainly tell us that they plan to eliminate us. Conspiracy theory, we see no dilemma as they quietly wipe out billions. They know we don't see it. They know you can't see it. They know what they done to us, taking us down. Lemonade, don't drink the Kool-Aid, it ain't safe for us. They made it so sweetly, so it will be easy to carry their plans out to lemonade. Oh, lemonade, don't drink the Kool-Aid, it ain't safe for us. Made it too easy while we're busy sleeping. They carry their plans out to lemonade. Oh, invisible ones behind the scenes, like Geppetto, pulling the strings. Master plan, dumb us all down. Eat what they feed us, try not to think. Carry on, nothing to see as they continue with their killing spree. We wasting time on trivial things and by what they say.